Whoa. Hey y'all, what's up? Free Spirit God back with another insight. I believe that we are existing in a reality where multiple truths exist. And I think that we're supposed to share our truths or our insights in order to give new perspective to other people. Well, that's some people's purpose. I feel like really I should speak for myself. That's what I feel like my purpose is does. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try very hard not to lecture, preach, teach during these videos. And I am sitting on my kitchen floor right now because I have sun catcher stickers on my window, and the sun is shining in December in the Midwest, and it's so beautiful. So I just wanted to sit in the rainbow, okay? So yeah, but I have been talking to myself a lot lately, and I feel like that's so empowering to finding truth and your experiences within reflection, within introspection, and blah, blah, blah. But also, what was I going to say? Talking to myself. What? This crystal don't want to stay. I just charmed it for my throat chakra because my mind moves very fast and it's hard for me to keep up with speaking it out. So just bear with me, okay? The more I do this, the better I'll get. But I think it's already helping a little bit, so I'm grateful. But anyway, I've been talking to myself lately again, and first, I just want to say, I feel like what happens is because I used to be so hard on myself because I would get to this place of like talking to myself like every day and just reevaluating events that happened within the day or different feelings and thoughts that I had. And like I would become best friends with myself every time. And then like people come into my life, and then, you know, I kind of lose that relationship with myself as far as like just being like really aware of self and blah, blah, blah. But now I'm coming to the realization that like I talk because, you know, this may resonate with some of you, but not everybody. But I talk to myself, right? And I'm reevaluating, going within, figuring things out, shifting, alchemizing, transmuting, right? And then people come into my life once I stabilize like a certain mindset, a certain like mental rhythm. People come into my life that align with that. And then I start to interact with myself through them. And by interacting with myself through them, I don't really put myself in position to do it with myself. And then, you know, you outgrow people or they outgrow you. And then like you're back to that point, and then you're like, what the hell? Like, I lost this interaction with myself, like da 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 da. But really, it's just you're interacting with yourself in different ways. So yeah, but I was talking to myself in the shower because last night I did the do with my ex that I never thought that I would ever communicate or interact with again. Where do I even start? So this is pretty random, but I got the download or the upload or the light bulb of like my coochie bananas is taking men to heaven, okay? And I feel like it's like that for, I don't want to even say a lot of women because we all have womb spaces, but we do live in a reality where I personally believe and know to be true, where a lot of people are not real. They're a part of this simulated experience, and that's it. They will not be anything outside of this simulated experience, but that's a whole nother video. Sips tea. I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, I had this dream that I was in like this really big living room, and there was like, okay, so facing this like that way, like of my kitchen, it was like couches, and they were facing like the direction of this way. I don't know how else to explain that. And there was a bunch of men like on the couches and they were watching TV, and behind the couches, maybe like, I don't know, like 12 feet away, I think. Well, yeah, like 12 feet away or something like that. Like kind of far, but kind of close because it was still in the same room. Anyway, that doesn't fucking matter. Um, I was on this bed with this guy and he was hunching me from behind. And all of a sudden he just stops and he walks into this corner and there's no one in this corner. And he's like talking to himself. And then he comes back and he's like, your Uncle Arthur said that you shouldn't be doing the do until you know who you are. And I've also had some other really crazy experiences when it comes to my coochie manana and men telling me things in reference to my coochie manana or reacting in certain ways in relations to my coochie manana that maybe I'll go in another time. But anyway, it came to me today in the shower that the reason why they want me to be super mindful of who I intercoursely interact with is because my coochie manana is taking men to heaven. And when I say that, what I mean is I feel like if you're a soul being, 9 times out of 10, with the era we're in, with the shift we're in, with the energy that has hit the system, okay, you are aware that you are not a part of this game, that you are here to have an experience, to learn things, to fulfill karma, to whatever, right? And also, there's a thing happening right now, a shift happening where a lot of men who have not been living up to their potential of what they're supposed to be as a man to women, providing, protecting, honoring, whatever women, they're going through a cycle right now where they're getting knocked upside the head, okay? Especially if they are not a part of the system, the simulation game, whatever. They're projecting themselves here from outside of here. Yeah, they get knocked upside the head right now if they have not been fulfilling their purpose. And so what's happening is a lot of men are using certain women to uplift themselves and also uplift themselves so they can get out of here at some point. When you intercourse with someone, I don't care what anyone says. I know a lot of people don't want to believe it because it doesn't work in their benefit. People just want to think that intercourse is just intercourse. There's no strings attached, that you're not connecting yourself to the person, that you're not exchanging energy with the person. But that's exactly what is happening. I don't care. It's what's happening. Okay. And so men will see you and they will know that you have that because it's just an energy, an aura around you, whether they're conscious of it or not. And they will try to engage in intercourse with you in order to hitch a ride, basically. And even men who are of the system that are not meant to leave the system once it all crashes. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're just going to rebuild it anyway, but that's besides the point. They will do that as well so that they have access to certain things that they wouldn't have access to if they hadn't connected themselves to you. And even if it's not as deep as that, I feel like women who are portals offer a certain energy that certain men just don't have access to on their own. And it's not about the actual intercourse in itself. It's about what's held within the entrance, within the belly, within the womb, the space that the penetration is happening, if that makes sense. Like, going back to my ex, I don't think he's a bad man at all. I think that he is a great man, but I think that he limits access to certain energies that I just naturally possess. So I had to cut him off because it was not being reciprocated. And at this point in my life, I don't feel like anyone can actually reciprocate the energy that I give out. But I also am coming to a mindset where it's like, but it's not meant for me to necessarily keep to myself because it's not really mine. Because when you leave here, you are out of the state of ego. This realm gives you an opportunity to, it gives you the ability to identify self, the all, in one space and one category, if that makes sense, or a more limited of categories, because it's not even just one category, because yeah, it gets complicated real fast. But anyway, which is a gift. But when you leave here, it's like, or you leave the frequency of here within up here, in this up here, within your energy, within your soul, whether you're traveling, astral, whatever, you realize that you are more connected to the all than just the identity. So it's like, with that being said, you know that the energy that you give off is of God. And because it is of God, it's not yours to just contain and have and hold and not share with others, because you're here and you're in this avatar and you're in this state of consciousness where you have ego at play, which is not bad. By the way, a lot of spiritual people always want to like kill the ego and all this and that or whatever. And but yeah, I was thinking about it, and before I even did it with him, it's been a while since I got some, y'all. And I was really in the mindset for a while where I'm just like, I don't feel like any man is worthy of entering my portal, or that's something that I should be doing. I shouldn't be exchanging energies. But like yesterday, I was in heat. Like, I don't know what was going on with me, but I was in heat. Do you hear me? Honey, look, the toys wasn't cutting it no more. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to open up a new portal of, or a new link with someone. I'd rather it be with someone. And then like when you link with someone, like when you have intercourse with someone, you link yourself to them. And even if you guys aren't connected anymore in the physical, you still have a link between you two based upon that intercourse. You guys have exchanged energy. So their energy is in you and your energy is in them. So it's like, in my mind, I'm like, why not just do it with someone that's already still in my energy? Because yeah, I don't want to open any more links, but I do want to fulfill this fleshly craving. And yeah, so I did that. But before I did that, I had hit up someone else because ironically, so I was talking to this guy a few years back, and like, it's crazy because in the beginning of talking to him, like, I didn't really like him. I'm just like, oh, I liked, like, it was just something to do. And I liked that he could hold conversation, like being able to hold a mental conversation, a mentally stimulating conversation with someone is like so valuable to me, because again, it offers me a connection, a reflection of self, of being able to connect with myself through someone else. So that's just kind of what it was. But like, y'all, oh, somehow this man got me to start liking him, or I got myself rather to start liking him. And yeah, as soon as I start liking him, he was like, oh, gotta go. And that's what always happens with Aquarius is for me. I feel like they are sent into my life to teach me how to detach and not to cling on to things just because they offer a sense of value in my life. But anyway, that's a whole nother situation. He ironically hit me up out the blue after like blocking me on everything and not talking to me for like a year. He hit me up and he was like commenting on my TikTok videos, sent me a Cash App, text me. I'm like, who is this? But I didn't see the comments or the Cash App or anything until he texted me. But anyway, we talked on the phone or whatever, and I was like, this does not feel the same. But he was actually my first call, because it's like, oh, well, he came back into my life, and I'm in heat. So it's like, okay, well, why not just do it with him? Because we're already linked, because it's been like a year. It's only been a year since we did the thing, right? And I believe personally that when you intercourse with someone, you are then spiritually married to them for 7 years. And I say 7 years because every 7 years, all of your cells completely renew. Like, you have a whole different set of cells and cells in 7 years. So yeah, I think personally, I believe that, but I mean, to each his own. Like I said, we are living in a reality of overlapping truths. And so I'm not going to tell you what is truth, because it may not be truth for you. But if this is resonating for you, then it's probably some truth in here for you. Okay. So we talked that day, and then we didn't talk anymore. And I just texted him and was like, what you doing later? And he sent me his location. He's like far. So I'm like, dang, the universe done cock blocked me again. And that happens a lot, okay? So it's like, I guess my whole point in this video is because I'm processing everything to myself, but also I just want to say that if you want to protect your portal and you don't have experiences where the universe will cock block you, because like that happens to me all the time, then ask for the universe to cock block people from your life that are just no good for you to exchange energy with. And yeah, because it'll even be to the point where it's like I'm trying to force it to happen and it's just not happening. It's crazy. But like, I've learned to listen. But I've also learned, like, I'm still a human being, and I don't feel like it's necessarily right for me to completely cut myself off from human experiences because I have higher aspects of me that wouldn't, if that makes sense. It's like balance, right? Because I do go through huge gaps in life where I'm just not interacting with it. It's like, yeah, no. And then like every now and again it'll hit me, and then I'm just like, if the universe allows it, I just allow it to be, right? So anyway, that didn't work out. The universe cock blocked that, thank God. That was like a big sign for me, like, okay, yeah, that's not what he came back for. That's not what this is supposed to be about. And so I ended up hitting up my ex. He responded right away. He came like a few hours later and we did the do. And while we were doing it, like, it wasn't awkward per se, but it was just like I was disconnected from my body. But like my coocha manana was being pleased as what I wished for. But it's like, I don't know, I just felt disconnected from the experience. And so I kind of felt heavy because of that. Like, why is it that I was able to orgasm and like everything went pretty smoothly and all of that, but like I feel so disconnected from myself while I was doing it and after doing it? And that put me in a position where I've come to this place where it's offered me insight. And I was thinking, after I had that realization, I'm like, fuck, I just basically opened up heaven for this man just to satisfy my flesh. And that's when it brought me to this realization of maybe he deserves that, you know? Because based off of how my life has been and has gone as an adult, because when I was a kid, like, it was not, intercourse was forced on me by so many people. That's a whole nother thing. But as I use that and transmute it more into myself and like getting to know myself and who I am and reaching higher heights of self, I then became protected by the universe in a way where even if I have the power and the will to make something happen, it just was not happening. Like it just was not going down. And I feel like the fact that it did happen is because it was meant to. Because not only, again, did it bring me here, but I feel like sometimes with being connected to source, being connected to God, you'll find yourself in situations where you're kind of being sacrificed for a little bit of something while giving a lot to another person. And it's not something that you're supposed to continuously do though, because that, no. But sometimes you are used by God in like so many ways, not just by like, oh, you feeling on your heart to pay for someone's groceries, or you're on the phone having a conversation about something and someone walks past that needed that message or something like that. Like it can happen in very taboo ways. And I feel like that's what happened. And I feel like he deserves it. Like I don't feel like he deserves for us to be back together or for it to be a continuous thing that happens. But I feel like sometimes because we are a part of source, but we're like micronism of source that has an ego, which is basically just an identity. Where was I going with that? Because we are our identity, we have different factors of what the God, the collective source is, especially in this precise realm or this precise energy of dimension. Oh my God, it just don't want to be there no more. I said, look, I did my job. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. I feel like with that being said, whether or not your God energy is being used as a means for someone else and they have that connection to source as well, or they don't, regardless, because you have an identity, because you have certain channels, because there's so many channels, but only certain ones, like you're not able to connect to all of them in this space that we're in, if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain what I mean by this, but based upon who you are, your identity, you have certain channels as a soulier being, as a being that is of source, that other people don't have access to because of their identity. I was heavy on myself a little bit because I'm like, well, maybe that was a mistake. Like maybe I shouldn't have did that. But again, like through that, oh, excuse me, through that one singular thought, it's brought me to this space of like, but I did make a mistake because I know that I'm universally protected. And I know that what is not meant for me, especially when it comes to intercourse, will be cock blocked. Maybe I was used by source to offer a sense of access to someone who wouldn't have access to it otherwise. Because again, like I was saying, he's a great man. He's a great person. But like, I just know that I have access to things that he does not have access to, and it shows within how our lives play out and by the thoughts we have and the interactions we have with self and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I guess the main point of this video was just to explain how we are, as women with portals to heaven for men, whether it be in the physical or outside of this physical. We offer them access to things that they rather wouldn't have access to. And that sometimes it's okay for that to be that. And again, if you're not sure if within intercourse it's okay for it to be that, ask the universe to protect you and to cock block the things that are not supposed to have access to the things that you have access to. So yeah, I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.